Who are you and what are you doing on my bed? Ngozi tried to explain. I'm your wife, baby. Shut up! Don't you baby me. You're not my wife. As the festival ended late into the night, Amaka and Ifeoma helped to clean up. Ebele also came and helped to clean up. Emeka was happy about this new change. Change is the only thing that's constant in life. I'm convinced they've learnt their lessons, he said to himself. Before going to bed, Ebele came to Emeka and asked if she could have a word with him. Go ahead, what is the matter? He asked. No, there's no problem. I just want to appreciate you for everything, for all the gifts, despite being aware of how cruel I and my children have been to your wife. Still, you allowed us stay in your house and gave us lots of gifts, more than you give anyone else. Emeka, you're such a good man. And I also want to plead with you. We would love to stay for the rest of the festival if you don't mind. I know everything you did to my wife in the past. You see, I went to Akwaka town to look for a wife. When I met Ngozi, I knew she was the one. When I made inquiry and discovered your attitude towards her, I decided to lay very low so you will accept my proposal. Who am I not to forgive you? If not for what you did, I wouldn't have been able to marry her. Staying for the rest of the festival is not an issue at all. It's just 6 days away. There's enough food and drink. The house is big enough for you and your children, your family, and I've forgiven you. Feel free, it's your home. Ebele was so excited because her plans were coming to play. Emeka retired to his room and narrated everything they had discussed to his wife. You did what? You let them stay for 6 extra days without first discussing with me? Do you know what they are capable of? With 6 days on their side, they will achieve a lot of evil plans. I was just waiting for the dawn of the day so they will leave, yet you gave them another 6 days without discussing with me first. This is not good at all. My love, I understand how you feel, but they are your family. I couldn't just bring myself to say no to her. Then you should have at least discussed with me first before making that decision. I'm so sorry, my love. I take all the blame. Just calm down. It's just 6 days and everything will be alright. I don't want to hear any more stories. 6 days and that's it. Ebele and her children started their plot that night. Ebele called her evil friend Auntie Oma, who's just like her. They were on the phone all night making plans and how to strike. Ebele told Auntie Oma to dress properly for the occasion and come with everything they needed to carry out their plans successfully. The next day, Auntie Oma went to Baba Idoko, who made some charms for her and gave her a calabash to give to Ebele. On the 3rd day of the festival, Auntie Oma arrived at the mansion. Ebele was so excited to see her. Auntie Oma was also a widow like Ebele, who had 2 grown-up daughters who left her because of her evil attitude towards others. They work and live in the city, but never visited their mother, but sent her monthly allowance. Ebele, Auntie Oma, and Ebele's 2 daughters continued in their pretense. With the presence of Auntie Oma, they became even more successful in their plan as Auntie Oma brought everything Ebele needed to execute her plans. They kept cleaning after each day and preparing for the next day. They literally turned themselves into maids, trying to win Emeka's trust and to make him believe that they've truly changed. They felt if they could get Emeka on their side, Ngozi was a walkover. And they successfully did this with all their pretense. Emeka was a very free-spirited person who believes anyone can change for the better. He believed in second chance more than anyone else. On the 7th day of the festival, which is also the last day, Ebele decided to carry out a grand plan. She decided to serve Emeka and Ngozi by herself. She told the maid not to bother taking the food to them, that she was going to do it herself. She added the portion Auntie Oma brought and took it to Emeka and Ngozi. Ngozi didn't like the fact that Ebele served them, but Emeka told her to let go, that Ebele is her mother. She should forgive her and let go. Ebele tasted the food before them just to prove to them that it was in a good condition. Since the portion was specially made with a maker's name, it couldn't affect anyone else. And since it wasn't a portion to kill, she had nothing to lose, so she tasted it. You see, there's nothing. If there was something inside, she wouldn't have tasted it. Would she kill her own self? Just let it go. They've truly changed, he said. Ebele walked out and Emeka and Ngozi ate the food. The festival ended very late into the night, and as usual, Ebele, her friend, and her two daughters cleaned up. Just when Ngozi was beginning to feel that it might be that they've truly changed, Ebele's plot manifested. Emeka and Ngozi went to bed happy, only to wake up as strangers. Emeka screamed as he woke up seeing Ngozi. "Who are you and what are you doing on my bed?" Ngozi tried to explain. "I'm your wife, baby." "Shut up! Don't you baby me." "You're not my wife," he screamed yet the more. His voice was so loud that Ebele and her daughters ran to the room. As soon as he saw Amaka, he said, "Where have you been?" "That's my wife." But Ngozi tried to explain to him, but he wouldn't listen. "Leave my house at once, you wicked impersonator." Ebele and Ifeoma helped to push her out. She ran to some of his relatives and explained what had happened. But there was nothing they could do. They knew it wasn't ordinary, but Ebele had used a very strong charm. They pleaded with her to stay with them in the meantime until they figure out how to bring him back to his senses. Ngozi was 4 months pregnant when she was thrown out of the house. One day, a message came from Umweke village that her grandfather had passed away. So she decided to go stay with her grandmother, Mama Chidi. 4 months turned a year. Ebele delivered a cute little prince. Since Mama Chidi was old and could no longer walk, Ebele had to work on people's farmlands and sell some petty stuff in order to feed herself, her son, and her grandmother. Nobody knew she was married to a billionaire. Mama Chidi regretted ever allowing her son to marry Ebele after hearing everything Ngozi told her about Ebele. Every day came with the guilt that she made her go through all the suffering and troubles. If I'd allowed your father to be with your mother in peace, there wouldn't have been any need for Ebele. And you probably wouldn't have been suffering like this. She kept crying and blaming herself for everything. Now the children I wanted are useless. I still just have one granddaughter. It's all my fault, she kept crying and lamenting. Big Mama, it's okay. I understand how you feel. Ngozi, one thing is for certain, God will fight for you, my child. Help will come from unexpected places. The spirit of your father and your mother will also fight for you. Mama Chidi prayed. The day of Papa Chidi's burial came. Ebele and her daughters with Emeka came as well. As soon as Ngozi saw her husband, she ran to him. "You again? What are you doing here? Why are you everywhere?" "I am not your husband. I do not know you," he said. "Look at your son. I named him Emeka," she said, pointing at her son. But it drove her out of his sight. She kept crying all through. When Ifeoma saw how Ngozi had been suffering and how terrible she looked, and the son looking at her old grandmother too, she felt compassion and regretted everything they had done to her. She went to a quiet place and cried, remembering how wickedly they've treated her. Growing up, Ngozi's mom never treated us bad. She guided us in the right path. She loved me. Ngozi was always a big sister to me. Where did I get it wrong? My mom taught us to hate an innocent woman, even in her death. Maltreated her daughter in her own father's house. Married off her daughter to a man without asking about his family. Nothing. She kept crying bitterly. Will Ngozi ever forgive me? How will she trust me? I was her favorite little sister. We were sent out of our husband's home. My mom didn't scold us. My mom is the real devil here. She kept crying. She was sad all through the burial. When they got back to Emeka's house, her attitude changed. She told her mom that she would no longer be a part of their evil plan. But her mom threatened to kill her if she ever said a word. So she ran back to Umweke village to Ngozi. As soon as Ngozi saw her, she carried a knife and threatened to kill her and kill herself. But Mama Chidi pleaded with her to hear her out. So she explained everything her mom and Auntie Oma had done. She cried and begged Ngozi to forgive her and also promised to help her. She told her the only way is to break the calabash. I'll go back and pretend to have come back to my senses and that I'm with them so I can get access to the calabash. If you do this, then I'll believe you've truly changed, Ngozi said. So she went back and pretended as if she was still with them. Her mother was happy that she was back with them. Little did she know that Ifeoma had a plan. The next day, while Ebele and Auntie Oma, who had come to visit her, were discussing in the sitting room, Emeka and Amaka taking a nap, Ifeoma brought out the calabash and told her mom that it was over. Enough of all this evil, mom. Change. I'm going to break this calabash and set Uncle Emeka free from your bondage. What are you enjoying? He doesn't even touch Amaka. She told you. Still, you want the money. This is not marriage but deception, and I'm going to end everything right now. If you had treated Ngozi well, you would have enjoyed everything because she would have taken you like a mother. Please, my child, don't break it. Please, I beg you. But Ifeoma lifted it up and smashed it on the ground. Yay, this girl has killed me, oh! The noise from the scene woke Emeka and Amaka up. As soon as he saw her, he recognized her. What are you doing on my bed, Amaka? Get out of my bed. Where is Ngozi? He went out and met Ebele crying. What is going on here? Where is my wife? He ordered everywhere to be locked. No one comes in and no one goes out. Ifeoma took him inside and narrated everything that had happened and told him it's been 2 full years. When he heard about his son, he was so excited. For 2 years, my wife has been living like a beggar. You people are honestly devil in human form. You and your sister, your mom and Auntie Oma will pay for this. No problem. I deserve any punishments. At least, it will be recorded for me that I did one good thing before I died. I'm ready to pay for all my sins. My life has been ruined. I want to do one good thing before I die, she said, crying. She was really remorseful. When Emeka heard her, he felt pity, and he knew in his heart that it was a genuine change. I'll give you one more chance and spare you because you helped me. Without your help, I would have still been in that bondage. Meanwhile, Ifeoma tried to convince Amaka that they were on the wrong side and needed to turn a new leaf, but she wouldn't listen. Mom is using us for her selfish interest. She doesn't really care about us. Obina and Uche were pushed to robbery because of mom, and she doesn't even care. She abandoned them there. I have been the only one going to visit them. Can't you still get it? But Amaka refused to listen to her sister because she had Emeka at her disposal. He did whatever she wanted. Ifeoma agreed to take Emeka to her own village, her grandmother's house where Ngozi stayed, just like she promised. After discussing with Ifeoma, Emeka bundled Amaka and Auntie Oma and Ebele in the car. As Ifeoma directed him, he drove straight to Umweke village. He wept profusely when he saw his wife. The condition he saw her made him remember how she suffered in the hands of Ebele. Seeing her in that same condition broke his heart greatly. He hugged his wife, carried his son Emeka Jr. and wept profusely. Ebele, Amaka and Auntie Oma were taken to her husband's kinsmen, who after judgment sent her to the king, and the final judgment was passed. Ebele, Amaka and Auntie Oma, including Baba Idoku, who gave them the portion, was banished from Umweke. Ebele, who was married from another village, was also banished from her own village, as the matter was taken to her own village too. She and her daughter, including Auntie Oma, were also banished from Emeka's village, never to set their feet in the village or their festival ever again. They became wanderers. Wherever they went, they were driven away after a few months. Emeka took his wife and son back with him. Mama Chidi and Ifeoma also stayed with them. Ifeoma never went back to her past life but became a better person. Mama Chidi lived with them until the day of her death. She realized that number of children didn't really matter. She understood that just one child can become more than 1,000 children. Emeka later helped to bring out Obinna and Uche from the prison. By the time they came out, they had already learnt their lessons. They also stayed with Emeka. They pleaded that they wanted to learn skills. Obinna became the best fashion designer in Emeka's town. He made all Emeka's outfits. People from far and wide came to patronize him. Uche, who loved school, later graduated and became a doctor. Ifeoma was later married to Emeka's business partner, a very wealthy and kind man. They loved and respected Emeka and Ngozi, and they took them as their parents and were never disrespectful to them in any way at all. Mama Chidi died in a very good old age, and she was taken back to her village for burial. She was buried beside her husband. Ngozi later had 3 more kids. They lived in peace and harmony. The moral of the story is that no matter how long you succeed in evil, as long as you don't change, there will be a day of reckoning, a day when you will pay for every evil you've done. And you know the Bible says there's seed time and harvest. The evil seed you sow will come in multiple folds of evil harvest, because the harvest is always greater than the seed. You will reap whatever you sow. Please sow kindness, sow love, sow humility, sow compassion and mercy, so you can have a good harvest. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed creating it. Like, share and comment, and please subscribe and turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified each time I make a new post. And also comment the lessons you learned and where you're watching from. God bless you. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.